Hello, welcome back to the channel. In last week's video I said I wanted to really concentrate on sorting out this bed because I think the word I used last week was it's diabolical, and actually it really is. I need to get these weeds out of here. There's a few beds that I've weeded already this morning, and what I want to do is get some manure to top these up and actually put these beds to bed for winter and know that that job is done. Now the first task is trying to remove these posts. Ugh. They're not called posts, are they? What are they called? Canes. Ugh. Now I don't know if I'm going to regret this, but I'm going with the idea that if I hoe off the top of them, hopefully most of them are only annual seeds and I can just pull the weeds out then and they won't come back. She says. I'm expecting a lot there, aren't I? I guess I better see if this is working. Oh, it is. It's quite loose now. You have to forgive me for wearing AirPods while I'm doing this job, but it's the perfect kind of job to do while listening to a podcast. And what better podcast to listen to than our own podcast, mine and Kerry's podcast for So Chatty. We release it on Spotify as well as on YouTube, so I'm currently listening back to all of our own advice about preserving and storing food for winter from Tuesday's episode. So if you haven't watched it or you haven't listened to it, do go and check it out. I'm going to carry on clearing this bed, and whilst I do so, let's have a little look around the farm while we've been checking on the livestock, moving them to new fields, etc. this week. Well, I've got that done, and I have to say it was harder work than I expected it to be. It took a lot longer than I thought it was going to take as well. But I am pleased to see the weeds have gone, the path has been tidied up somewhat, and I can start thinking about what to do next in this space. And what I'm doing next is actually quite exciting because it involves going to get the compact tractor, which I haven't had chance to drive all week, one thing or another with caring for my mother-in-law. So it's now my turn to get back in Irvine, because that's his name. Having looked at his number plate, he's got Y, V, R and N in his number plate. I've now called him Irvine. He's not going to notice that actually this would be a lot easier if Duncan was to come with a telehandler and do it, because it would just be so much quicker. But I want to be self-sufficient, so I'm cutting my own nose off to spite my own face. Now before I come off this part of the garden, I really want to show you this rose bush. Look at it, flowering again in October, nearly in the middle of October. Unbelievable, isn't it? It looks absolutely beautiful. It's not the only thing flowering, but I'll show you that one shortly. Oh, off we go. I'll just take my AirPods out now before I get started. Don't want to lose them in the muck too high. This pile of muck here has been here since before I started the actual vegetable garden, so it's really old stuff. Probably got quite a lot of weed seeds in it as well, but it's all I have at the moment. I've got myself a fork. It is actually quite dry, so I'm not sure if it's wetter underneath. and try and get in at it. Otherwise I don't think it's going to mix into the bed very well. Oh, that's a bit better. That's heavy. Oh look, there's his big cousin in the background. This is so much fun. Right, I've parked it right by the bed, so I'm going to bring the barrow, I think, the other side of here. I don't want to try and shovel it straight over into that bed, so I'll bring the barrow, shovel it over the fence into the barrow, and then just tip it in. Hopefully that'll work. Yes, I know. The telehandler could have just leant straight over the fence and I could have just scooped it straight out of the bucket. But, you know, strong, independent woman. Seem to have the world's smallest spade for this job again. That's a very satisfyingly full bed of manure, and it looks amazing, doesn't it? It's really dark, just like the compost that's already in the bed. So tick, one bed done. I've got a little bit left, so I thought I'd put it in this bed. There's just some little lumps that need breaking up before I spread it out. I'm actually thinking of going rogue and putting sweet corn in this bed next year as well, so the two beds are going to be next to each other. And when I say going rogue, that's because this bed is the bed that had sweet corn in this year, and I really wouldn't normally do that, but I kind of like the position here out of the way at the end of the plot. And now I've done that one, that's ticked two beds off the list, so I'm really pleased to get those two done. There's only another 40 odd beds to go, but we're not counting at the moment, we're just not counting. The next job I want to do though is no more of this heavy lifting work. I want to do something exciting, and what is the most exciting thing you can do on a garden? Harvesting. There's things that I have yet to harvest this year, and I really want to have a look at some of those firsts, and I'm just buzzing, and we've had quite a bit of rain recently, so obviously I'm a little bit more aware that the slug pressure might be increasing, so let's get ahead and get those harvests done. But there is one thing I want to show you first, because I did just tell you that I had something else that was flowering, and this one really made my head blow this morning when I spotted it. Absolutely beautiful, but absolutely not the right time of year for it either. It's this Elstar apple tree. This cordon tree was pruned right at the end of August, if you remember, and apparently because we had that early frost in September, and then we've had some really warm nights. Last night, for instance, polytunnel didn't get down to below 14 degrees, which is really quite mild for October, because now we are in what should be pretty much our first frost dates. So this clearly thinks that we've had the shortest winter in history and has started to put blossom out. Now this is a very young apple tree anyway, so I'm not sure whether it was going to bear any fruit next year for me, but if it was thinking of it, it's going to seriously reduce its harvest for next year now, because they're supposed to be next year's flower buds and next year fruit. But there are a few more new shoots dotted about, so with a bit of luck these will think of flowering next spring instead. And similarly, if I move to the other end of the fruit tree guild here on the pollinator highway, this is the crabapple tree, and this also put up some late blossom, and that has tried to set a little bit of fruit. So what I'm going to do now is remove those fruits, just just to stop it putting its energy into producing fruit that is not going to make fruit at this time of year for it. And I've been and got a spade and a pair of gloves, because what it is that I want to harvest first is in this bed. And I remember trying to harvest this last year from that bed down there, and I had such trouble getting this out of the ground that I think I'm going to go straight for a spade this time, because this bed has got my celeriac in it, and it is absolutely massive this year. Because last year I grew giant Prague, and giant Prague is not as big as this variety has been for me this year. Haven't done any pruning of the lower leaves of this time, whereas I did last year, but I will just pull the lower leaves off here now, so you can see the absolute monster of celeriac that we have growing in the ground here. And actually it might come out easier this year. Oh, look at that, it has. Didn't need to get the spade after all. Wow, look at that. That is absolutely enormous. And celeriac is actually my most favourite vegetable. I love celeriac mash. I do feel like I say lots of things are my favourite vegetable during the season, but coming into this time of year, oh, you cannot beat it. And I could not be more delighted with how this crop is looking. We've had a first frost. I think it's one of those things that you harvest after a first frost. And yeah, hopefully it's going to be delicious. So what I'm going to harvest next are some potatoes to accompany this, because I do like to mix the celeriac with some potato in the mash. Let's go and see what we can find. Now, while I was just putting the manure in the bed behind me here, I actually noticed that there's some humps in the ground here, because I was going to pull these weeds up. That's what started it. And then I realised that I hadn't actually got all of the Charlotte potatoes out of the ground here. I mean, really, Claire? I thought I had. So, oh, yeah, they're here. I'm going to get some of these first. I love a potato harvest. It is the best. And these are the best potatoes. My absolute favourite. This is a good return for one seed potato. Oh, I think there's a big one there. Wow. Oh, I was just thinking that'd be it. And then there we go, find another one. The ground feels a bit hard under here. Oh. Oh my, there's more. Look at that. That's amazing. That's one seed potato. I'm really pleased with that. And it's not it. There's more here. So I am just going to harvest another crop and hope that my son and daughter-in-law will come and visit us and take some with them. My granddaughter might not like vegetables, but she certainly likes potatoes. Wow, look at that. It's as big as my hand nearly. Well, big as the palm of my hand. Absolutely amazing harvest. I cannot believe that there's that many potatoes still in the ground. Completely forgotten that I had these Charlotte potatoes in here. The joy of harvesting potatoes never gets old. It never gets old. But these aren't the potatoes that I intended to harvest today. It's actually one of the main crop that I want to harvest. So I'm going to still go ahead and do that, because my mother-in-law doesn't actually like new potatoes. She prefers the old potatoes. So let's go and get her some of those and see how they've done. Most of my main crop potatoes are actually growing in buckets to be harvested later in the season, but just so that I could have a comparison later on, I did put 3 in the end of this bed here, with the hope that maybe if this works out okay, that I'll grow more in the ground next year. I've got plenty of space on the vegetable garden, so I could give over more space to potatoes. And to be fair, it was just because I had a few left over that I put them in here. I have a feeling that I'm going to be a little bit disappointed. Oh, she says, and she immediately grabs out one this big. Oh, there's a little bit of scab on that actually. That's okay, that's okay. Oh, that one's got slug damage on it. This is why I'm harvesting them now. Look at that. Oh, there's a hole in that one. I did suspect this would happen. I don't quite know why it doesn't with the Charlottes, but I'm thinking it's because this ground is wetter. because I earthed these up with some fresh bags of compost. Of course they're going to be so deep, aren't they? Because with them being main crops, they've been growing since I started earthing them up, haven't they? Wow! That really is as big as my hand, that one. That is enormous. Surely there's no more now. Oh, there is. Oh, these are nicer lower down. So obviously, because these ones were formed first, they look great, don't they? They seem to be out of the way of the slugs. I'm going to carry on and harvest the rest of them, I think, just to protect them from any more slugs, because I don't think they're going to get any bigger. Oh my gosh. I've never seen a potato that big. I genuinely am not just saying this. I feel like I say it every time I harvest something, but I have never seen a potato that big. This is insane. I need to remind you, three seed potatoes. That's as many as you would put in a bucket. And I'm having all of these potatoes. There's just no comparison. No comparison. Oh, it's amazing. And they have mostly stayed in the trench that I dug for them, which is good to know that I must have done that right. Well, I thought I was being optimistic bringing a deep tray across with me, and I still can't get over the size of that. It's absolutely ridiculous. Just one jacket potato for tea tonight. That is pretty impressive for my first season trying to grow potatoes or main crop potatoes in the ground, because this is a ridiculous return on 3 seed potatoes. Oh my gosh, I can't even pick that tray up now. It's so heavy. Oh my life. That's just unbelievable. Unbelievable. The humble potato. Who knew it could bring so much joy? Now, because I'm having a root vegetable kind of day, I thought I'd have a look and see how our carrots are doing, because obviously I've been leaving them in the ground too. I think it's fair to say they're doing okay as well. Oh, these are not so big, but these are still the kind of size of carrot that I would normally be expecting and be thoroughly impressed with. Oh, look at them. Oh, this variety here is called Marion. Well, Marion, you are an absolute beauty. Now, I've moved to this bed here next door, and I don't really want any more carrots, but I just want to show you the difference in varieties. This bed here has Amsterdam forcing in it, and as you can see, these are more evenly sized and shaped carrots. Oh, they are beautiful carrots as well. And these are the ones that I've sown in the polytunnel for an early harvest next spring. That is definitely enough carrots for today, and I've still got loads in the ground, and if any of them have grown as big as this one, well, we're in for a carrot feast. I love whole roast carrots with harissa paste and pine nuts on a bed of kale. Oh, I've got kale. Favourite meal coming up. Now, this bed here, I've mentioned this on So Chatty recently. This is the Hamburg parsley. So I know it looks probably from a distance like it's just carrots, but it's not. It is a root parsley. So if you don't watch So Chatty, you'll be unfamiliar with what this is. So I'm just going to harvest a couple. I don't think they're very big because I didn't thin them out. Let's see what happens if I just grab some. There you go. They look like mini parsnips. And in fact, that's exactly what you do with them. You roast them just like you would a normal parsnip. But the tops you can use just like you would parsley. Now I guess if I'm going to be having root vegetables, I really need to be having the king of all root vegetables, which is an actual parsnip. Let's see what we have in here, or if I can harvest one. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's not budging. Can you see it? Look at that. That looks like there's two big ones next to each other in there. Try and dig around it a bit. See if I can loosen it. Oh my life, it's enormous. What's the betting it's all tangled roots and not very big at all. I think I'm going to lose the foliage. I'll pull the foliage off because I don't want to get blisters from it. It means I can get in it now without worrying about it getting in my face. Oh my. I'm determined. I'm determined. I've been and got a trowel. I've got about 10 minutes before it goes dark. Can I loosen the soil from around it? Enough to pull it out. I think I'm going to break it. What about the one next door? Oh, I've got this one. Oh, that's a lovely parsnip. Oh gosh, it smells so nice. Oh, I love parsnip. And now let's see if I can get this one. I'm trying to push down, but it's not moving. It's making me breathless. I mean, it's wobbling. I nearly went through the polytunnel. Are you ready? My word. And I did break the end off it, but I'm really not upset about that. Look at that. What a parsnip. It's amazing. Absolutely enormous. And it hasn't split. It looks perfect. Absolutely perfect. Now, I don't like beetroot, so that is not something that I would put in with a chunky vegetable soup, stew, or just roast vegetables, but I do love a swede, and nothing goes better with carrots than swede, or the harissa paste and pine nuts, but definitely need a swede. So I'm just going to grab this one on the end here. Look at that beauty. Absolute beauty. There's a few big ones in here, but there are a few really quite small ones, but that's okay. That's okay. I am thrilled with whatever I get to harvest. And I couldn't be more thrilled with that swede. Amazing. Oh my, I can barely carry this. Oh, it's so heavy. Hi, Chippy. I went to get some beetroot. Don't be frightened, I'm sorry. I thought I cannot let a root vegetable harvest go without picking a few beetroot. So I've got a couple of red ones here, and I've picked a golden beet as well. I'm going to have a lot of processing to do tonight. You think the harvests are coming to an end when all the tomatoes and cucumbers and things start to be emptied, but these are the staples that are going to get you through the winter. And talking of staples, that is what we'll be discussing in So Chatty on Tuesday. Our staples, our stars, and probably going to discuss things that will never grow again, or things we want to try for the first time. But that's it for this week, so I'll catch you for So Chatty on Tuesday. Look after yourselves. Until then, bye.